Well, good morning, walking friends, and how are you doing today? Are you surviving the heat? So far, it's a nice and beautiful day here in Oregon, and so far it's nice and cool. That's one of the reasons why I like to go walking early in the morning. It's because it is so cool. So last time I posted something kind of dark, and I plan on continuing along with the series and going on with the disappeared and unsolved missing cases, but I wanted to kind of lighten the mood a little bit today and talk about something that's going to be a little bit personal for me. I keep watching all these articles or newscasts about all these people that go crazy and kill people or go off the rocker and shave their head and lose custody of their kids because they're bipolar. And it really kind of bothers me because I don't know if I've ever told you guys, but I was diagnosed with being bipolar type 1 disorder, most depressive, back when I was like 19 years old. And I showed symptoms as early as 17 years old. And I have had my low points. I mean, I've been severely depressed, and I, at one point, had suicidal thoughts, and there have been times where I just wanted to run away from it all and just get my head straight before I came back so my family wouldn't have to deal with me. But never once have I gone off the rocker and attempted to hurt somebody or hurt my children in the aspect of physically hurting them. I mean, the last time I went off my rocker and I wanted to disappear, I upset my son, which really upsets me now to know that I upset him as much as I did, and I didn't mean to. I just wanted to disappear so I wouldn't hurt him, because I know he doesn't like to see me sad and forlorn and in a funk. But never have I driven crazy with my children in the car. Never have I done anything. And I'm referencing Britney Spears, where she went off the rocker and she had her son on her lap in the front seat of her car when he was just a year old, and then she shaved her head and she had to be put on a conservatorship. I've never had to be hospitalized, though there was one point where I went through a severe postpartum phase, and I did ask my husband to take me to the hospital to possibly be admitted into the psychiatric ward, but he refused to. And now looking back on it, I realized I wouldn't have even met the criteria to be admitted into the psych ward. And there was a time where my youngest was in the hospital and they thought he might possibly die from having E. coli infection in his kidneys, and I was severely depressed because I felt like I had done something wrong. Not only that, but my mother-in-law had told me that I had done something wrong to make him sick, and I felt completely responsible, even though it was just a freak accident. And the hospital actually had me go downstairs and talk to the psychiatrist that was on staff for the night. Her name was Dodie, and I actually worked with her when I worked at Detox. But never have I ever had to be hospitalized, and never have I ever tried to hurt somebody. And I don't know, maybe I'm just different, but I keep seeing all these stories on true crime networks and he went crazy and off the wall, and all because he's bipolar, so he killed his whole entire family. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can blame a mental health disorder other than schizophrenia. I mean, if you're hearing voices that are telling you to kill somebody and the urge is there, and you end up doing it because the voices tell you if you don't kill somebody, you're gonna die yourself, that I can kind of understand to a point, but not just being bipolar. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I've never been physically violent with anybody, though I do know people that have. In fact, I know of one individual in particular that has been violent with somebody due to being bipolar and off their medications. But maybe that's the other thing. I've never really been without my medications, except for this last year when my insurance company refused to pay for my medications, and it took me about 5 weeks to get them back. But that's when I went really low, and now I'm back on them, and I'm stable, and I'm doing good. I take my medications every single day like I'm supposed to. It has been an up and down trial my whole entire life to find the right kind of medications to be on, because I have been severely depressed throughout my life. I have been to a point where I just couldn't get out of bed, and I think that's the most that it's ever done for me, is made it to the point where I couldn't get out of bed. Though, like I said, I did have one time where I had suicidal thoughts, and I actually did attempt suicide, but that was back in high school, and not very many people know that, because it's just not something that you speak about, especially in our family. You don't speak about if you've attempted suicide or not. So, has anybody else ever had experiences with mental health issues, either within themselves or with somebody in your family? If so, what did you find that works for you? I found medication works for me. Meditation kind of helps. Journaling helps me. But there are other things that help other people. And hopefully, if you do suffer from some sort of mental health illness, hopefully you do find the time and find the resources to get help, and you don't just stick it on the back burner and think that it'll get better over time on its own, because a lot of the times it doesn't. A lot of the times it doesn't pan out by itself. Sorry, the sun is like fighting with me today, as well as my voice. So what kinds of methods do you find help you the best? Or what kinds of methods do you find help that person that you know the best? Or do you even know? A lot of people don't speculate and don't talk about their mental health issues. I know that I've got my son that takes antidepressants. He suffers from depression and ADHD, and my daughter suffers from severe anxiety and depression and ADHD, and she's currently not on any medication. She refuses to take any medications, and she's at that age where she doesn't have to if she doesn't want to. So though I wish she would, she refuses to. My 20-year-old, yay, he's officially 20, folks. Officially 20. Like I said the other day, he has autism, and people with autism have ADHD, and they can tend to have severe anxiety, which he does have, and they can suffer from depression as well. And he's chose to be non-medicated. He doesn't like the way the medications make him feel. He said they make him feel like a zombie. And I can remember when he was younger, we had him on medications to help him focus in school, and it just totally zombied him out. And my oldest son suffers from ADHD, but as far as I know, he's not on any medications. So, wow, I've got a funky tan line, don't I? This is a tan line. And it's really weird. I think it's from one of my shirts that's got like a strap that comes down through here and a doily thing that comes down through here. My husband also is being treated with the same medications that I've been treated for bipolar disorder, but he's never actually been diagnosed with bipolar as far as I know. As far as I know, he's just been diagnosed with depression and severe ADHD and anxiety. And a lot of the bipolar medication regimens, they prescribe for anxiety because it is kind of a dual medication. It's like a lot of the medications that they'll prescribe you for bipolar disorder are anti-seizure medications. Like, I'm on Depakote, which is an anti-seizure medication, and my husband's on Lamictal, which is an anti-seizure medication. And they can actually help with anxiety. So, and you don't have to answer the question in the comment below. I know a lot of people would prefer not to divulge if they suffer from any kind of mental health disorder. I know that can be a very personal and private thing, but if you feel comfortable in it, there's no judgment. And if I find out anybody is making judgments on here or any negative comments, your comments will be deleted. I'm just forewarning you. Because this is a place of safe and loving community. It's not to be made judgments of or to be making fun of people for. That's what this whole world should be about. It's loving people and making them feel safe. Not to make them feel like they have to have judgments held against them. Also, I wanted to take the time to talk about the environment. Has anybody noticed that this has been an unseasonably hot summer? Unseasonably hot. I mean, when we had that massive heat wave back in July, it was 115 degrees here in Oregon, and it doesn't get that hot here. I mean, the town that I live in, the hottest it's gotten is like 98 over the last few years, but 115 degrees, and that was the day that I came home from being in Yakima. So it was super hot. 115 degrees. Yesterday it was 103. Today it's supposed to be 106. It was supposed to be 109 until the Weather Channel decided to change it and say, oh no, we made an oopsie, it's supposed to be 106. But my goodness, it's ridiculous. And I have a feeling it's because we are slowly ruining our ozone layers from all these forest fires. The smoke and everything slowly deteriorates our ozone layer, and carbon monoxide and emissions from our vehicles and all sorts of stuff. And I know here in Oregon you have to have an emissions test on your vehicles to make sure that there's not that many bad carbonites that are being put out into the environment. No, only they would do that in every state. I'm not sure exactly what states. I know that they do it in California as well, but I don't think they do it in every state. We need to figure out a way to slowly fix our ozone layer. I keep wanting to say level, our ozone layers. We need to find a way to slowly fix it. And these forest fires that are going on right now are not helping. There's a massive fire going on in California right now again. There's fires in Oregon. There's fires in Utah. There's fires in Colorado. There's fires in Washington. They're just everywhere right now. And it's because people are not safe. When they smoke cigarettes, they drive down the road and they just flick their cigarette butt out the car window and it catches everything on fire. Or they set off fireworks, or they leave unattended campfires. I know when I was camping, one thing that sparked some anxiety in me was, oh my God, what if we're up camping and all of a sudden a campfire breaks out? And when we were camping, this campsite across the road from us decided to light a huge bonfire in the middle of the night. And I couldn't sleep until they put that stupid bonfire out because I was so scared that they were going to light the whole forest on fire. Now you can't even go camping because you can't run a generator and you can't light campfires. And they've closed down all campgrounds in the Wenatchee Natchez Forest. The closest campground open to go camping is 100 miles away from Yakima. And that's because it rains a lot in that area. But any area that there is no rain, there's no camping. I don't know about here. We haven't had any rain in well over a month, except for a sprinkle a couple weeks ago. And normally it rains 3 times a week. Our weather is like Seattle weather, and normally it rains a lot here, but we've barely had any rain whatsoever. And it's just, come on, people, we need to figure out a way to save our ozone. We need to figure out a way to make it to where our children have a beautiful planet to grow up to, and not a planet that you can't do anything on because we've ruined it for them, or our grandchildren, or our great-grandchildren, or our great-great-grandchildren. We need to find a way to fix the problem. I don't know what the fix is, but maybe if we listen to scientists and specialists that specializes in ozones, maybe if we listen to them and follow their direction and their cues, maybe we can figure it out together. Maybe we can save our planet. And it doesn't help that there's so much garbage being dumped into our oceans and killing our marine life. Have you guys seen that video of the lady pulling long plastic straw out of a sea turtle's nose? That just sickened me. I felt so horrible for the sea turtle. It was the grossest video I think I'd seen in a long time. And I don't mean gross as in nasty. I mean gross as in our humanity is doing this to our poor wildlife and our poor marine life. And you've constantly got fish that are being caught up on the 6-pack rings, or seals that are being choked on plastic bags. And these are, I mean, you go to the what's it called? The aquarium in Seattle, and you walk outside the aquarium where the docks are in Seattle, and you look down and there's garbage floating right there. What is that? You do the same thing here in Oregon. You go to the aquarium here and you walk outside and there's garbage that have been washed up across the shore. I mean, come on, people. We're supposed to be fixing the problem, not aiding in it. I just want my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and my great-great-grandchildren to have a future. And I don't think that's too much to ask. My son already has children, and I want them to have a future. I don't want them to worry about global warming and whether or not our world is going to explode because, or if people are going to die from heat exhaustion because the temperature reaches 126 degrees in India. I mean, that was ridiculous. 126 degrees in India. People died over there. I don't want my grandchildren to have to worry about that. So I'm going to leave that for you to think about. I would like to see some comments below as to what you think about our global warming problems. And let me know what you think. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please hit the dislike button. That's fine too. If you don't already subscribe and you would like to subscribe and see some more of my soapboxes and do a check-in with me as we walk every morning, though I only post every other day, hit the subscribe button. And I hope you have a great day and continue your walking. Love you. Bye.